Hey, Olive, Arlo, and Frank. Greetings from the living room in Jack's Beach. Trying something a little different here. We're gonna record this on my laptop, so we'll see how it goes. Once again, we're going to be in the Enchanted Fairy Tale storybook, and today we're going to do Hansel and Gretel. Gretel and her brother Hansel lived near a great forest. One night, Gretel awoke to voices. "There is not enough food," screamed the stepmother. "We must take the children to the woods and leave them." "Never," cried the father. "Would you rather watch your children starve?" persisted the stepmother. She gave her husband no rest, but he would never let harm come to his children. And here is, need to get this together. That's, I guess, the stepmother and the dad. Gretel ran and told Hansel of their stepmother's plot. She knew she could count on her big brother. That night, Hansel sneaked outside. When he came back, his pockets were filled with flint rocks. Gretel held them up to the moonlight and saw them glisten. "These will guide us home," Hansel said. So here's Hansel out there in the dark, getting the flint rocks. And here he is with his sister. And she's going like, "Oh, you rock." Early one morning, the woman snuck the children out of the house. "Get up, you lazy things," screeched the stepmother. "You must help me gather wood in the forest." Then she led them through the deep woods. Gretel peeked at Hansel as he dropped flint rocks along their path. When they reached the dense woods, their stepmother disappeared. So what they're doing is they're dropping these rocks on the ground so that they can follow the path back to their house. "It's all right, Gretel," said Hansel, giving her hand a squeeze. "The rocks will show us the way home." And here's the stepmother leaving them and booking into the forest. Dr. Pepper milkshake from Whataburger. When the moon rose, the flint rocks glistened. Hansel and Gretel followed the rocks all the way home. The next day, their stepmother took them deeper into the woods. Hansel had no time to collect rocks, so he dropped pieces of bread. But when they tried to follow their trail home, they discovered that the birds had eaten the bread. And here's the birds eating the bread. And Hansel and Gretel going like, "Oh no, we're toast." No pun intended. Frightened and confused, Hansel and Gretel wandered in circles until they happened upon a little gingerbread house. "Hansel, look, a whole house made of gingerbread, and the windows are sugar," Gretel yelled as she licked the sweet panes. Hansel broke off a piece of frosting shingle from the roof. Then they heard a voice from inside. Nibble, nibble, gnaw all year. Who is nibbling at my cottage dear? Here they are, coming upon the gingerbread house. The door opened, and out came a wrinkled old woman. Gretel was terrified. Come and stay with me, precious one, said the woman. I have plenty to eat, as you can see. That night, Hansel and Gretel ate a fine meal and slept on pretty little beds. And look, they even have, looks like candy cane. Something made out of candy cane. The next day, Hansel woke up in a cage. The old woman forced Gretel to cook for her brother. I'll fatten him up before I eat him, said the woman. So, probably didn't think they were going to be eating the children in this story, did you? But they are. Gretel wept as she did all that the woman commanded. But when the woman wasn't looking, Gretel handed her brother a chicken bone through the bars of the cage. The woman is nearly blind, Gretel whispered. Stick this bone out when the old woman comes to check on you. She'll think it's your finger. So a skinny chicken bone, and here she is coming up to the cage with the chicken bone. They're going to put one over on the old cannibal lady, the wrinkled old cannibal lady. Each day the old woman visited Hansel's cage. Stretch out your finger that I may feel if you will soon be fat, she ordered. Hansel, however, held out the chicken bone instead. The old woman grew frustrated. Finally she told Gretel, fetch me water, for tomorrow I will eat Hansel fat or lean. So it doesn't matter if he's fat or what he is. So there she is, getting the chicken bone through there, and then here's, I guess she's sending Gretel for the pail of water. Go cook that boy. The next day, Gretel was forced to make a fire in the oven. Now, said the old woman, crawl in to see if it is hot enough. Gretel knew the woman meant to push her in, so she said, I don't know how to get in. Silly goose, cried the woman, like this. When the woman crawled into the stove, Gretel slammed the door shut. And here's the lady. This thing's timing out. My computer's timing out on me. So I need to get used to this. Here she is, stuffing the old lady into the stove. You would think while you were recording that this wouldn't be timing out. But Gretel unlocked her brother, and they raced for the door. Hansel tripped over an old chest, spilling out diamonds and rubies. The children stuffed their pockets with the old woman's jewels and ran out of the house. They followed a nightingale through the woods. When they were almost home, their father came running to them. He threw his arms around them. My children, he cried. When I found out what your stepmother had done, I sent her away. I have been looking for you ever since. Gretel and Hansel lived in comfort and joy with their father, and every now and then Gretel ventured back to the gingerbread cottage for dessert. And here's the chest of jewels that they got to partake of. And then here's Hansel and Gretel with Daddy. Peace out, guys. I don't even know how to do the peace out yet.